Ever stared at your bank account and then at a for sale sign and thought, "You're right, maybe in another lifetime"? What if I told you that dreaming about real estate investing isn't just for the super rich? No, seriously. Today I'm going to show you three real estate investing strategies that I personally use. These are the exact strategies that help me get started with way less cash than you think. We're talking about turning "I wish" into "I am," even if your wallet isn't overflowing. So if you're ready to stop dreaming and actually start doing, you're in the exact right place. All right, let's get into the first strategy. And honestly, this one's a personal favorite for breaking into real estate without needing a ton of money: house hacking. Now, what on earth is house hacking? Imagine this: you buy a property, live in a part of it, and rent out the other parts. This could be a duplex, a triplex, even a fourplex. Grab one unit for yourself and the tenants in the others. Their rent helps you pay your mortgage, property taxes, insurance. Sometimes it covers everything. That means you could be living for way less, maybe even for free. Okay. You might be thinking, a multi-unit place sounds super expensive. And that's exactly where the little money angle comes in. And why this is such a big deal, because you're actually living in one of the units. It counts as your main home. This is huge. Why? Because it means you can get much better loan terms. Think about FHA loans where you might only need 3.5% down. Compare that to a usual 20 to 25% down for a straight up investment property. And you see how the barrier to entry just dropped big time. When I was starting out, the thought of a huge down payment was terrifying. House hacking was my way in. I found a duplex that needed a bit of cosmetic work. The numbers made sense. The rental income from one unit would cover a huge chunk of the mortgage on the whole building. So I lived in one half, fixed it up slowly, and had a tenant in the other half contributing to my equity building from day one. That experience? Gold. It didn't just slash my living costs and free up cash. It showed me what being a landlord is all about. Finding tenants, leases, the odd repair calls. It's like real estate investing with training wheels. But these training wheels actually pay you. And the cool thing about house hacking, it's not just for multi-unit places. You can do this with a single family home too. Got an extra bedroom or two? Rent them out. Got a basement with its own entrance that you can turn into a small apartment? That's a house hack. Even using Airbnb for part of your home works. The main idea is simple. Use the space you've got to make money and cut your costs. Let's be real, though it's not all sunshine and rent checks, the hands-on part of this strategy is very real. You are, in effect, a living landlord. This means you are the go-to person for your tenants. Leaky faucet? Your problem. Noise complaint? Yep, you'll hear it. So, picking good tenants is super important. You're not just finding someone to pay rent, you're finding a neighbor who happens to help with your mortgage. Also, be ready for vacancies. If a unit's empty, you're on the hook for the whole mortgage until you find someone new. That's why having a little emergency fund is key. A lesson I learned the hard way, by the way. But the good stuff is good. It's way low. Besides way lower living costs, you're building equity in something that's hopefully going up in value. That rent money is chipping away at your loan and boosting your net worth. Plus, the experience you get with managing properties, dealing with tenants, and learning the ins and outs of rental finances, can't put a price tag on that. It really sets you up for your next investment and the one after that. For me, house hacking just wasn't about saving money. It was a spark that ignited my whole real estate journey. It showed me that investing was actually doable, even without a mountain of cash. It's about being smart, getting a little creative, and not being afraid to roll up your sleeves. Okay, next up is a strategy that I gotta admit blew my mind when I first heard about it. It almost sounds too good to be true: wholesaling. This is how you can jump into real estate deals and make money without needing any of your own cash tied up in the property yourself. Sounds interesting, right? It totally is. So, what's wholesaling all about? Basically, you become a deal hunter. You're on the lookout for properties selling for less than they're worth. Think places that need work, homes for sellers who really need to sell, or deals that aren't even listed. Once you find a good one, get it under contract with the seller. But here's the cool part. Instead of buying it yourself, you sign the contract to another buyer, usually an investor or flipper, for a fee. You're essentially selling the right to buy the property, not the house itself. That fee is your profit, and it can be anywhere from a few grand to a lot more, depending on the deal. The best thing about wholesaling, especially if you're starting out, not much cash. You don't need to get a loan to buy the house. No crazy mortgage application, no huge down payment. You're not taking on the risk of actually owning the place. What you're really investing is your time, your hustle to find these deals, and your negotiating skills. When I first tried wholesaling, it felt like being a detective. My mission was finding those hidden gem properties. I learned to spot the signs, overgrown yards, mail piling up, places that just look empty or run down. I also networked like a maniac. Talk to agents, lawyers, contractors, anyone who might know a motivated seller. And just as important as finding deals is building up your list of cash buyers. Investors ready to snatch up these properties, you absolutely need to know. And just as important as finding deals is building up your list of cash buyers. Investors ready to snap up these properties, you absolutely need to know who you're selling and what they want. This strategy is definitely hands-on. It takes serious hustle. You got to be good at marketing to find sellers, a sharp negotiator to get good terms, and really careful with contracts and local real estate laws. This is not passive income. It's active. You're making calls, sending out mailers, driving around looking for properties, or digging online. And always, always networking. One of the best tips I ever got, and I'll share it with you if you're serious about wholesaling. Think about finding a mentor. Someone with experience can help you avoid common mistakes, especially with the legal side of signing contracts. You can make money pretty quickly with this, unlike a regular flip that can take months. A wholesale deal can close in just a few weeks sometimes. That assignment fee, let's say $5,000, $10,000, or even more, can be a nice chunk of change. I still remember my first wholesale deal. The fee wasn't huge, but that feeling of making something happen and earning a profit without buying a property, man, that was empowering. It gave me cash I could put back into other investments. Now, it's not all easy. Finding a truly good deal takes hard work, and you gotta stick with it. The market can be tough. Other wholesalers and investors are looking for those same great deals. You also have to be super transparent and ethical. You're the bridge between the seller who needs out and a buyer looking to invest. So your job is to make it a fair and smooth process for everyone. And knowing the legal stuff in your area, absolutely non-negotiable. Some places have specific rules about wholesaling. Wholesaling isn't for everybody. You need to be a go-getter, tough when things get tricky, and a good talker. But if you got that drive and you're willing to learn the market and build connections, it's a seriously powerful way to make money in real estate without a ton of startup cash. It's all about creating opportunities, and that skill is a valuable way beyond just the assignment fees. For me, something really sharpened my negotiating skills and my eye for spotting a great opportunity. Skills that are priceless in any kind of real estate investing. The third strategy I use and totally recommend, especially if you're okay with some dust and have a little bit of a vision, is a live and flip. This one neatly blends owning a home with actively investing, and it comes with some real nice potential tax perks. So, what's a live and flip? Pretty much what it sounds like. You buy a place that needs some love and renovation, updates or serious makeovers. The main difference from a regular fix and flip is that you actually live in it while you're fixing it up. It becomes your main home. Then after some time, usually 2 years or more, you sell it for a nice profit. Hopefully a nice big one. Thanks to all your hard work. And fingers crossed, the market going up. One of the instant perks, just like with the house hacking, is that you can get owner-occupant financing. That means smaller down payments and often better interest rates than if you were buying it strictly as an investment to flip fast. Again, think FHA loans or regular loans with lower down payments, making it way easier to get in if you don't have a lot of cash up front. My first living flip, I was an adventure. I bought a house that had, let's just say it had personality. And by personality, I mean everything was outdated. I saw the potential. I lived right in the middle of the mess. Temporary kitchen in one corner, half-painted living room in another. It definitely wasn't always pretty. Every single thing I fixed, all that sweat equity I put in, was directly bumping up my home's value. This is where hands-on gets you serious. This is where hands-on gets serious. You're not just overseeing things. You're often doing the work. Painting, tiling, landscaping, or at the very least, keeping a super close eye on the contractors. But the real magic of the live and flip, besides building equity with your own two hands, happens when you sell. Thanks to IRS rules, if you owned and lived in your place as a main home for at least 2 years out of the 5 years before selling, you can often exclude a big chunk of your profit from taxes. For single folks, that's up to $250 of profit tax-free. Married couples filing together is up to an incredible $500,000. That's huge. Imagine making a $100,000 profit and paying zero capital gains tax. This tax break is a major reason why living flips are such a fantastic way to build wealth, but it's not a walk in the park. The biggest challenge with living flips is nailing down renovation costs and how long it will take. It's super easy to get those wrong, especially if you're new to this. Material prices can change and surprises always pop up when you're starting to tear down walls. My advice, always have a backup plan. Backup funds at least 10 to 20% of your renovation budget for those uh-oh moments that'll always happen. The market changing is another risk. It could dip before you sell, which would affect your profit. That's why living there for 2 years or more can actually help, giving the market time to hopefully go up. Living in a construction zone also takes a certain kind of person. It can be stressful, definitely inconvenient. You need patience and, trust me, a good sense of humor. But the upside, you're not paying for another place to live while you renovate, which saves a boatload of money compared to a typical flip where you're covering costs on two properties. For me, living flips have been awesome. They let me get into the neighborhoods I couldn't afford otherwise. Just by buying a fixer-upper, I learned so much about home renovation, managing projects, and budgeting. And yeah, that chance for tax-free profit at the end, that's a huge plus. It's definitely a slow process in wholesaling, but the amount of wealth that you can build is serious. You're not just changing a house, you're changing your financial future. So, there you go. 3 different real estate investing strategies I personally use to get started and grow, all without needing a fortune. House hacking, wholesaling, and living flips. Each one has its own ups and downs and different levels of how hands-on you need to be, but they all have one big thing in common. They make real estate investing something you can actually do. I'm curious, which of these strategies sparks the most interest for you? Are you leaning towards the steady income of house hacking, the quick cash potential of wholesaling, or the equity building power of a live and flip? Let me know down in the comments. I read every single one, and I'd love to hear your thoughts or any questions you might have. And hey, if you found this breakdown helpful and you're ready to learn more about potential real-world investing strategies that actually work, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. I've got a lot more to share with you on your journey. Look, getting into real estate investing isn't about taking some giant leap. It usually starts with one smart move. These strategies show that if you had the right info and you're willing to get involved, you can make your real estate dreams happen, even if you don't have a ton of cash. Stop waiting for one day. Your one day can be today. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.